Yes, I am allowing now all the participants to join. So good morning, everyone. I am trying to allow you all the cameras and the mic. Don't know why it's happening this. Great. So maybe we can wait 1 or 2 more minutes and then we can start. Sorry. Okay, maybe I can start with the first remarks and with the agenda to prepare ourselves for today. Just to let you know, and thank you for being here, of course, just to let you know that this is our last webinar. I am super sad for this. This is our closing webinar. We will discuss about the organic waste management plans, but mainly not the structure, because we already discussed that, but the plans that are already made and that some municipalities started implementing. So we are happy about that, and we congrats that municipalities. So this webinar is about consolidating local organic waste management efforts in Belize, but also after these local presentations, after this local presentation, we will have 2 more interventions that I will explain briefly. So the Recycle Organics program is funded by the Environment and Climate Change Canada, which provided a total contribution of 8 million Canadian dollars to support 6 small island developing states in the Caribbean and the Pacific region in addressing methane emissions from the waste sector. The main objectives of these supports are to contribute to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and enhance climate resilience. Give me 1 second because I need to, oh no, it's already here, so perfect. The second one is to strengthen national and local capacity to identify and implement sustainable mitigation actions. The third one is to support participating countries in advancing their climate mitigation efforts to achieve their national determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. In March 2023, national stakeholders identified the development of a network and educational program for municipal government as a priority for Belize under the Recycle Organics program. Improving organic waste management is critical, we all know that, as organic waste represents in Belize approximately the 35 up to 45% of the total waste stream. Better management practices could significantly reduce the pressure on the landfills and methane emission, and mainly in cities. Local governments are an essential stakeholder in this solid waste management, as the towns and city councils and also the villages are in charge of the garbage collection with several technical and financial challenges. The network and its educational session began in January 2025, so you are now 1 year later participating, so congratulations for you. And I have a positive say to think after all this session. Under the leadership of the Center for Cleaner Policy and also with the support of Implementa Sur, with webinars delivered on the 4th Wednesday of each month. Today not, because we are finishing the program. A total of 11 webinars were delivered. So we have many participants and all the materials will remain available. Then I will show you for consultation with the sessions recording and all the presentations that will be accessible for you to ask them anytime you want through our website. So this exchange of ideas, experiences, perspectives among participating stakeholders has been highly enriching. It has also provided an excellent opportunity for municipalities in Belize to learn from their peers, adopt successful actions implemented by other municipalities, and initiate meaningful dialogue. So now I will present the agenda. I already made this welcome introduction. We will have the participation from 4 municipalities. Also, we will have super important, we will have some main results made by a psychologist that made an analysis about this organic waste management plan and this network, and she will give you all the results about the behavioral change that needs to be made to have a success in many projects. Then we will have the participation from Mr. Rommel Saint-Hills. He developed some local and national policies that you will that you can use. Then when that template is finished, you can use it, copy, paste it, and then you will have your own regulation. And finally, of course, we will have some questions and closing remarks. I will check if we don't have anyone else in the waiting room, but I think not. But what I want to do, I don't know why the people that is coming into the room doesn't have their mics or even the cameras, but now I am allowing them one by one. So give me just one more second so I can allow everyone to speak. So please interrupt me whenever you want. And also turn on your cameras and so we can see you. Here is okay, and then here, allow camera, allow mic. Perfect. Good. Okay, so someone is here? Yes, perfect. So about organic waste management plans, what we are going to present today. First, the objective of this plan, as you may know, was to create a roadmap of priority actions to strengthen the municipal waste management. Why to do that? Because you need to improve the cost recovery and also promote the organic valorization initiatives to help the multiple municipalities in Belize to have access to multiple finance, internal and externally, to start implementing actions and have a more sustainable organic waste sector. So the presentations will be structured as the following. First, each of the speakers of today that I will present shortly, they will speak about some actions, some selected actions. Just for you to remember, each of these plans have more or less 30, 36, 20, 28 actions. So we cannot present all the actions today. So we are going to present some of them that also had or they made some progress in the implementation. So we are super happy about this because the municipalities get the ownership and they started implementing the action. And this is an example for you to also start doing this. And finally, the validation process about this organic waste management plan. You might say, why is it important to validate the plan if it is a document? And it's highly important because first you need to present this plan not only for the sanitation staff but to the whole municipality, to start working jointly in this organic waste sustainability. Second, present to the community because the community needs to know that the municipality has a vision, a long-term vision for the organic waste management, and they will have the information and they will want for sure to contribute to this common objective. So now I will start with my first speaker to present my first, to present my first speaker. Give me 1 second. That I am super happy to present today. She is Miss Joyce Cantun. She has been a counselor from 2021. Her portfolio are parks and playgrounds, sanitation works, environmental protection, and green spaces. Her main goal is teaching others about civic pride and taking care of environment. She's graduated from the University of Quintana Roo with a bachelor's in economy and finance. She has her own environmental club that is called Eco Hearts, who keeps doing community work on the environment. So many thanks, Joyce, for joining us today, and your valuable words will be super helpful for us. And the floor is yours now.
Hello, good morning, muy buenos días a todos. It's a pleasure to be here at our last session. It's overwhelming feeling, sad as well. Just want to give thank you to the Recycle Organics for this opportunity. And now we could say that Orange Rock has its own Recycle Organics municipal plan. So we have reached that milestone and we have that document now. It's like a 60-page long document, and we're sharing it with the community, with everyone who wants that data. We have that document now, and we've shared it on our website and our Facebook page. I wish I could share all about it, but it only has specific. I will share some specific actions for the Orange Walk. It's been a good year, a great year. Actually, last year we achieved so much. Now it's to put these actions into place, 2026. So the first one of the biggest challenges that we found through this plan is the not one of the challenges weak policy framework. The objective was strengthening the local policy frameworks to create enabling conditions to develop and foster recovery waste initiatives. So we don't have much policies into place, especially with sanitation. Sanitation is one of our biggest expense here for the Orange Rock Town Council. I think for all municipalities, it's a challenge since we have not taken, we don't have a proper plan for it. For example, we don't have a proper department for it. We only have one supervisor and there are 11 to 15 workers, sanitation workers. Mr. Baiza is usually here, who has been working with me, but he couldn't be here with me today. He's on the ground right now working. And sadly, our compactor trucks are at the mechanic again, so we have a setback there. But one of the many problems is that many of our residents do not bag their garbage. So this is a challenge for us. During COVID time, they were bagging their garbage because we put that if you do not bag your garbage, we will not pick up your garbage because it was hazardous for our sanitation workers. But when COVID was finished, then also some residents stopped bagging their garbage. And then we take super long when we go to residents that don't have their garbage bagged. 5 to 7 minutes we take to pick up that garbage, and it's hazardous for our employees as well. So we have to bag those garbage. If we bag our garbage, it will take 1 to 2 minutes to bag that, to pick up the garbage. So we know that with that time, we could do other things, especially with us getting this wood chipper. We'll be able to schedule the wood chipping of the green and the waste material from the yard to be done. It will help our employees as well. And this is a short term that we want to implement this policy, and it will not cost a thing to the town council. It will actually be something positive for the town council. If I could get the next slide.
Amazing
Then
work
another
with the
of
time.
the sorry,
Amazing work with the
another
time. Yeah.
another action plan that we have, one of the challenges is low payment rate from businesses and market. When you get your trade license, businesses must pay a commercial garbage fee, but that fee is very outdated and low. We only collect like 110,000 annually which does not cover not even half of our entire expense in garbage, which is about $1.2 million with fuel, salary of the workers. Maintenance is one of the biggest expense that adds up to that. So it's not covering the cost, and it's unsustainable for us to be doing this free of cost for the residents. And it's one of our biggest priority to collect that garbage. So in order for us to become a bit more sustainable, we are selling to the community. We're going to push a $5 residential garbage fee, a weekly $5 fee. So a month that will be $20 for our residents. We have approximately like 4,000 households in Orange Walk Town. So that will help us with the expense that we have for that garbage collection. So one of the good things from this plan is that now we have this plan, we have data here to share the people, and we are going to all the 6 zones that we have divided the municipality, and we're actually today will be our 6th and last meeting we're going to have with the public in sharing them this information so that they could see the expense, they could see that with this money that we're using from the traffic department, because the traffic department is subsidizing this expense, we could do other things. We could maintain the parks, we could build parks. So the residents are actually buying into it. And April 1st, God, we will start charging that $5, and that will be a transparent method. And we will have actually, this week we're training our collectors to go from house to house. Residents can also pay online or walk into the town hall and do that payment as well. So it's very easy to make that $5 payment, but it will be a part. We will not add it to the property tax. We'll not add it to the light or water bill. It will be something separate for the residents. Another thing that we have achieved, that we're going to achieve actually through this plan, is action 8.1, which the challenge was impact of land degradation on local agricultural production. This is a big challenge, national level and a local level, with us being depending on the sugar industry. Our land, our soil is very infertile now. It has been overworked, so thanks to Recycle Organics, we have signed an MOU with the BSI. Since BSI is already doing composting, Recycle Organics actually, they gave us an estimate on how much a composting plant would cost. It is something that we would love to do right now, but short term, we're unable to do our own composting plant. So BSI is doing it already with their soil, with their waste. So what we will do is now we signed an agreement with them where we will do the wood chipping. Thanks that we're getting the wood chipper through this Recycle Organics. We will be chipping all that green waste, all that yard waste, all that branches, because we have a lot of branches that are just set outside in the people's yard. We will be chipping that material, and then we will be taking it to BSI. They will not be charging for it. We will not be charging for it. It is something that we're just working to see how to best find a solution for all these branches that we have here in town. We normally have a small fee that we do charge residents to pick up that branches, and then the branches is just being thrown out. So we're going to use it composting through BSI. We have signed that MOU agreement. And thanks to Recycle Organics, they also provided training to BSI in December to their farmers, and with the proper training with soil pH and management, enhancing organic matter and biodiversity, implementing sustainable practices to improve soil health and reduce input costs. So they also got training, and now when the wood chipper is here, we will also get training on how to use that chipper. So a lot of short-term actions is being taken into place, and we would like to thank Recycle Organics for giving us that opportunity. And with this with this plan that we have at hand, this is a 10-year project that policy that we can implement, different policies that we want to implement now here at the Orange Walk Town Council. We have been sharing it on the social media page. We'll be sharing it on our website as well, and we're going on a talk show as well every Thursday as well to to give that information to the public. And also we're talking about that residential garbage fee, which is new to the community, but we're trying to sell it to the people. We're trying to market that, and it's a good buy-in. And now this will tie in perfectly with the recycle organics and this waste municipal plan, no? So a big thank you to everyone who has helped us in making this plan possible, and we will be using it to the best of our ability so that we could achieve more with this. So thank you. I don't know if I was trying to beat the time.
No, you are perfect. Thank you so much, Joycey, and thank you for sharing all the progress you have been made with the different actions. Now I have maybe a question for you, if you allow me, because I think it's super interesting how a municipality started from scratch, from not charging their residents to start discussing about how to develop a waste fee structure. So I wanted to know about this fee structure. How was or what has been the general public response to this new fee? If you can tell.
Thanks for that question. And actually, it has to pass through local government before we even charge this residential garbage fee. And like a year ago, they gave us the green light that yes, we could go ahead and charge that residential garbage fee. It was just time that we were taking too long to decide if we charge, not charge. But since it is very unsustainable for us to continue, continue see where we get that money for that the garbage collection, it is only right for us to charge that residential garbage fee. So what we are trying to do, we're having different public meetings. Today will be our sixth public meeting on our sixth zone to talk about it. The residents have had, majority of them have had positive feedback, and they say that $5 is nothing to pay, because I know at rural areas they do charge villagers. They have private people that charge them. So for the town, it's $5. It's very minimal. And we're trying to provide all this information. It will be a transparent process. We will be showing them how much we're collecting, what we're collecting, what we've been doing with the money. And it is just to be able to sustain and continue providing this service. So the residents, they have had a good and positive response, something that we thought we would not get, but it will happen April 1st that we'll be charging that $5 residential garbage fee. Another thing, our business commercial garbage fee is very minimal. So what we've been trying to do, we're trying to also raise the price on our commercial garbage fee, because for supermarkets we have to take 2-3 loads of trucks coming and going to our dump site. It's very costly for us, so we are also raising the price on our commercial. Little by little, we're raising the percentages of that commercial garbage fee. But it has been a positive response. We even have this document that has a lot of data, a lot of information, which schools can use, teachers can use. So it's been working good in our hand. And especially with getting this wood chipper, they will be seeing that we're getting also 2 new compactor trucks. So we are using the money wisely and for what we actually needed at the town council.
Great. Thank you so much for this complete
Thank you.
response, Joycey, and congratulations on this incredible achievement. And also thank you for your commitment and for moving Orange Walk towards a more efficient management. And it was a pleasure again to meet you and also to work with you in this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will move to our next speaker now. Give me 1 second so I can present him properly. Edgar Cocom, he began working with Benque Viejo del Carmen. And I'm sorry, I was reading wrongly. Sorry. He says councillor at Benque Viejo Town Council, and he also began his political career as a committee member, and in 2021 he became a councillor until the present time. So Edgar, the floor is yours, and thank you for being here with us today. I think you are muted, maybe?
Good morning,
No.
everyone.
Good morning.
Sorry for, yes, on the, just a touch on the organic waste management plan for Benque Viejo. The, it all began in our first term of office, that Mayor Rosales, he brought this to the table, that he wanted to have a much cleaner environmental town and a tourist attraction, which began about 3 years ago. And yes, and also he's well, the plan that he put into on the table was by recycling all the materials, the organic materials, household branches, and to in which we could help the community, sorry, by recycling these branches and making organic compost for our community garden, and as well as beautifying the parks, and also helping out our local farmers and our local farmers with this, by selling it to them, for them to provide organic products instead of products grown with chemical fertilizer. They could use organic products. When the project began, it was a minimal that we were collecting of these, and it was just about 50 cubic yards per day that we were collecting. But up to now, we are collecting 100 to 125 cubic yards of branches. At the moment, we're just we're taking them to a pit where we are covering it with soil, and we've had public consultations with with the residents here in Benque Viejo as well. And I'm sorry, I'm about a bit and in a couple of months we will implement a pilot project that of the home composting program. But at first we will have a public meeting with the families to say who will which families will be interested in that program. For the sorry, excuse me. At the moment, when we forgive me, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not used to this. We've had public consultation also with the public about this program, about the composting, and doing this project. And when we have spoken to various families, they are asking us when will this project begin, because it will help residents with job creation for the residents. And we know that with the support that we are getting in acquiring this chipper, it will be a great beneficial to Benque Viejo Council. Because as I said, it will help us with the farmers in them producing organic products as well as beautifying the town and parks, so that it can become a local tourist attraction. Also, we will have training for the operators of these machinery. Thanks to you, and the workers will learn about this, and they can also assist others in learning about this machinery that will be beneficial to our community. And yes, and thank you very much for your great support that you've been giving us throughout this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar, and thank you for this presentation. And don't be nervous. We are all learning together. so thank you so much. In the case you can explain us better about the ideas that you have been discussing internally with the mayor. That, as you mentioned in your introduction, he had a clear a clear vision for improving this waste management sector. So the ideas that you have, the idea that you have been discussing about these final uses of the compost and the mulch that you will be producing from the branches, the leaves, and the clippings. Of course, the work with you mentioned the work with the farmers, but also we wanted to know, what the municipality will do again with this mulch or compost that you will produce.
With this mulch, and we will also, like how we have a community garden, we will and to help produce organic products as well, and we help us to beautify the parks. We will try to give the parks do beautification projects with the parks to begin, because we want to make Benque Viejo a tourist attraction. Also, well, the mayor has told me that we can see in what other ways we can benefit from this mulch, producing this organic mulch. But we are in the process of trying to see what other projects we can do, or what other way we can use the compost.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Edgar, for your participation today, and also for for this commitment from the mayor and also from all the sanitation staff that had an amazing engagement. And thank you for being part of this process, and also for showing us a way to work with the municipalities and be responsible with the organic sector. So thank you so much. And I will now move with our next speaker. He's Mr. Leon Castillo, currently serves as a Climate Action and Environmental Solutions Manager at the Belmopan City Council. He holds a bachelor's degree in anthropology. Before this current role, he worked at the Forest Department under the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change, and Solid Waste Management. There, he served as a finance officer and subsequently as project manager for two major projects funded by the Global Environment Facility. So thank you so much, Mr. Leon Castillo, for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Good morning, and thank you for having us for this final session. I can't believe we've come so far, and we're very grateful that we have our own organic waste management plan in hand, and we've been reviewing it with other HODs from the council, and we've even put together our campaign that we want to do with the media, so that everyone in Belize and of course in Belmopan know that our organic waste management plan is here and we're ready to use it. Action 2.3. So for the last year, the City Council has been working with the Youth Climate Action Fund. And from there, we had, as you can see in the picture, we had 17 projects throughout the city. Most of them have worked with composting or some deviation of composting. We had one organization working with biochar. And so, speaking with Ms. Alejandra and the rest of the team from Recycle Organic, we want to continue the composting project within Belmopan, and of course to bring it to the council as well because we see that it's not only beneficial to the community, but it encourage youths to get into conservation and to be one with nature and to help with the green initiative that we're trying to do here at the Belmopan City Council. And so we're so happy to announce that all 17 projects are completed and that we hope that more funding comes our way later this year or next year to continue our composting project. I know with Recycle Organic, we have about 51 homes that are in Belmopan right now working with composting, and we hope that we can double that by next year. Next slide. So one of the biggest thing that we're trying to do here at the Belmopan City Council is trying to stop these or curb these illegal dumping that keep happening around the city. For one, we're trying to start our waste separation programs with the schools. We do have our child advisor board that is here at the council. They are helping us promote waste separation. As you can see in the picture, they most recently did a cleanup campaign in the San Martin area. They're doing another one tomorrow, and they're going to be planting trees. I don't know if you read recently, but the country wants to plant 1 million trees. And so the council wants to contribute its efforts by planting at least 200,000 trees by 2050. We're going to use the help of GIS and geotagging to ensure that we can track all the trees that we plant from now to 2050. And so we're very excited that the youths are engaged with us in terms of our cleanup campaigns, our tree planting, our waste separation programs. We're going to start the Ana de Iguana program, which is going to target primary schools in the city and teach kids from a young age waste separation. Hope I'm not going too fast. So in terms of monitoring and enforcement, and dealing with illegal dumping, we must talk about enforcement. In terms of tackling those who continuously continue to dump garbage in the outskirts of the city, we're working with DOE. They have started to train our wardens and in how to ticket individuals with illegal dumping. Just yesterday, we had DOE on the site with us as we started to clear some areas of Belmopan with illegal dumping. And we're going to do surveillance monitoring as well with the help of DOE and the police department. And so here you can see our wardens in one of their first training sessions. And we're using ArcGIS to map not only illegal dumping sites, but all of these new development areas that we have in Belmopan. Belmopan is the fastest growing municipality in Belize, and so with that comes waste. And part of the Belmopan City Council is we're trying to tackle it as best as we can. But we need the community's assistance and help as well. So that means monitoring, that means enforcement, and of course that means education as well. Thank you. So finally, validation and endorsement. Like I mentioned, we do have a 30-day public education awareness campaign that we're going to start. that's going to break down this entire work plan to the public in terms of cost recovery, in terms of how we're going to handle waste. Um, we have our climate action plan that's going to guide us from now to 2050. Of course, the organic waste plan has to be a crucial part of our climate action plan. Most recently, the Ministry of Sustainable Development had a cabinet paper review where we're going to talk about cost recovery for all the municipalities within the country of Belize. They were excited that Belmopan already has its organic waste plan. I gave the props to as CCAP and of course Recycle Organics for helping us to develop this. We're going along with Benque as the first two municipalities that's going to go into this test pilot with the ministry. And Belmopan is way ahead of the game in terms of waste separation, waste management, the way that we structure our fees in waste collection. And so we're hoping that other municipalities will be able to learn from us, ask us for assistance. We're always here to help. And so we're excited and we're ready to use our plan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leon Castillo. And now I want to ask you a question regarding the Youth Climate Action Fund. So could you walk us through in more detail on the follow-up process carried out by the City Council after they received the funding, and how does the council ensure that these initiatives will continue and will remain sustainable in the long term? I am asking this mainly because this special fund, is an incentive to start working in the organic waste and could be valuable for other municipalities to start implementing something like that. So if you can walk us through out in the process and how you are monitoring the initiative.
Sure. So when we had the open call for round two for the Youth Climate Action Fund, we wanted projects that can be measured a year from now. So we can go a year from now and say this is what the funding did. And so looking at the projects that came in, we were excited, especially projects like the Smart Bench, which is bringing technology with nature. The composting projects, that is something that we continuously give them advice and funding as it comes through so that they can continue to do the composting. And Ms. Alejandra is helping us to set a date for us to meet with some of the recipients that did composting within Belmopan, so we could have a one-day workshop so we could continue the momentum and so that they don't lose faith or lose that interest in it, and that it can continue and contribute to what Recycle Organic has already started. And so majority of the projects are projects that we will be able to measure a year from now and see exactly what changes have been done. One of the biggest things that we want to do though is one of the groups did nursery. And so that a year from now, we want to be able to start to plant a lot of trees within the city. And so wonderful projects came out from the Youth Climate Action Fund.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this response and also for this tremendous commitment and for showing us how to align ourselves with the youth initiatives. And again, well, all the best luck for this public education and awareness campaign, and we hope the best, and we will be tuned to know more about this campaign. Thank you so much, Mr. Leon Castillo, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Now I will move forward with our last speaker from the local governments. So she is Martha Robinson. I hope you can hear us well because we know that you have some issues with the connection. I will I will start presenting her. So Marta Robinson is a councillor at the Dangriga Town Council with a portfolio of senior citizens, environment, disability and sanitation. And also is responsible for the third and monument sites and extensions of Dangriga. So thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning, Ms. Marta Robinson, and I hope you can hear us well. In the case you are speaking, you are muted.
Good morning, everybody. I am
Good
Marta
morning.
Robinson, and I am delighted to be here.
Thank you so much.
Well, for Dangriga, also we're looking at household composting pilot. For this composting, this came to idea or to mind because I have done a backyard gardening project before, and we would like to do a little bit more on that. I realized that just to do the backyard gardening, it was like $100, like 90 something dollars for a bag of crop to set the seeds. And knowing the time that we're living in, we're trying to plan our projects to be more environmentally friendly. So we look at the household composting pilot project, the implementation, the distribution of materials and equipment. So for the distribution of materials and equipment, we're looking at 50 households in which we're looking at some of those restaurants, some of the residents, the schools will be a part of it. So that's the way we're going to do the selections. Practicing, training, and monitoring, yes. We'll be working with the we're working with the overseers of the project to guide us with the training, and then we partner with the schools to do the monitoring of the project, of these bins and how they are utilized. Because just being on DIFA and Love FM, our people or the residents of Dangriga knows that once you get a composting bin, we need to make sure that it is properly utilized. If it is not utilized, we are going to reassign it to somebody else who will utilize it, because we want to make sure that being a part of the project, you need to be committed and make sure that we make maximum opportunity, make maximum of that opportunity, no? Data, recording, and peer learning. Yes, we're going to make sure that we keep in, we'll keep recording data. That is important. So every step of the way, all the monitoring and what we see, what we observe, how it is going, the feedback will be constant throughout the project. That's the only way we can say this project is working, because we collect data on a regular basis. Next slide, please. The validation and endorsement, the municipal present. Okay. Yes, we actually had a presentation with DIFA and Harry from Love FM. And it's basically to educate everybody, the residents of Dangriga and other municipalities, as to what our plans are and how it is going to work, how our people are going to benefit from it. Yes, so we look at the, that's a presentation with DIFA and all of that. Next slide, please.
This is the last one, Ms. Marta Robinson, but if you allow me, I want to ask you one question. So, because I want to know, in your personal view, which do you think will be the next key action or initiative that the town council will be available or able to advance or champion to further advance in organic waste management?
Yeah, actually what we are doing, the next project is that we're going to do some community gardens. We're going to tie to our beautification project that we have. So we're going to look at some of the trees that we're going to plant in different areas in town. The schools will be having gardening because then right now as we speak with all that is happening, we need to ensure that we have food security. So we want our people to be able to provide our own food. That is, and at the same time, that is organically grown, that is environmental and healthier for our people.
Great. Thank you so much for this answer, and also thank you for having this commitment with your community and trying to beautificate Dangriga, an incredible town. So thank you so much for joining us now. I will move to the next slide. That is a groupal photo. It will be a screenshot, but it's a photo for us. So. If you can turn on your camera so I can see you, we can see you, and we can take an amazing final picture from all of you. I am trying to put you all together in my screen. I will wait some more minutes. Well, not minutes, some more seconds. So I can have you all in my screen and I can take an amazing picture. So I will count 1, 2, 3, and then you have to smile, of course. 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Give me 1 second because I want to share it. Perfect. Now I will stop 1 second because I will change slightly the next speakers. I will move forward with Mr. Rommel Sangil, but give me just 1 second so I can jump into his presentation. For us, from the recycler, what is happening? Why is not working? Give me 1 second. From the Recycle Organics program, it was amazing to meet Mr. Rommel because he helped us in developing some crucial templates that will be extremely helpful for the national governments, for the Ministry of Local Governments and for BESUAMA, but mainly for the local governments. So I will give the floor shortly to Mr. Rommel, but first I want to present him. Mr. Rommel is Sangil is an attorney at law with approximately 18 years of legal experience practicing primarily in the Caribbean, particularly in Barbados and Guyana, with familiarity with the legal systems of Belize and other countries. His practice focuses on legislative drafting, regulatory law, and public policy development with significant work in environmental governance, natural resources management, and sustainable development. He has advised governments, regional institutions, and international organizations on legislative reform and environmental regulatory frameworks across the Caribbean. So thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Rommel, and we hope to have a great validation now. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you very much. Just advice, do I need to share my screen?
Yes, do you want to share your screen?
Yes, I'll share it. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. I think it is being uploaded.
Yes.
I am seeing the screen in white, but maybe it is charging only for me. Diana or Alejandra, are you seeing the screen? No?
Oh, it's still white.
Okay, I have the presentation. In the case you want, I can present for you.
Okay, yes, please do that.
Okay. So here, yes.
All right, is the screen up? I'm currently seeing white as well.
My team, are you seeing the screen?
I can see it. Can you see it now, Mr. Sanhil?
No, it's currently still white at this moment. Let me see, give me 1 second.
In the case you can't see the screen, maybe you can start talking about, and I will try to follow you in your words with the slides.
Okay, yes, I'll do that. So I'll let you know when to change the slide. Okay, so I'm on the beginning slide. So thank you very much, everyone, for being able to attend this very important session. Very happy to be here with Recycle Organics. And my task was create templates in terms of the local policy application of organic waste management for Belize. I was told it's a very important area for the country, so I'm very happy to provide these templates that could be used, and I will be going through how these could be used. Next slide, please. So in terms of the content, there will firstly be an introduction and overview, or more or less the background of what the project entails. Next will be chapter 1, which will highlight the model local regulations. The third aspect of the presentation would be the chapter 2 to the regulations and the supporting instruments. And then we will round off with the conclusion at the end of the presentation. So if we can go to the next slide. And this slide is more or less indicating what the overview is about, which is a synopsis on the design and purpose of the model regulation. So we get into what the regulation is about, how it is designed, and how councils could use this, of course, to ensure that obligations are met. Next slide. So in terms of the overview and organic waste challenges, so persons in Belize would be aware of the waste management context, the legislation which is currently present, with a view to ensure that there is adequate source separation and waste management. That is the purpose of this organic waste regulation template. It would include key municipal, or what we call local government, domestic regulatory tools that you can use as a local government. It will have an implementation pathway for councils, and it also has a regional CARICOM policy comparison within it. As you know, Belize is a member of CARICOM, so these considerations would have to be taken into account as well. So as organic waste, which is more or less using the food that we eat, basically livable waste, and this is going to form a major component of these waste streams. There's some danger because once you use landfill disposal as opposed to the adequate correct type of disposal, as opposed to simply throwing it away, it could produce methane emissions, and unmanaged organic waste would create public health risks. This organic waste, in addition to treating, can be instead be recovered through methods such as composting. Next slide. So what is here are the organic waste management regulations, and it's a standardized framework that you can adopt depending if you're a city, a town, or a village council with regard to the management of organic waste within the relevant municipality. So what does the framework aim to do? It's going to aim to reduce organic waste sent to landfills. It is going to promote composting and biological treatment. Ultimately, it will protect public health and the environment, and on a more macro or broad level, it will support national climate and waste management objectives for Belize. Next slide. So now we come to the purpose of the model regulation. In addition to what I mentioned before, it will fall in line with the legislation within Belize because it has to naturally be able to work with this legislation because it cannot go against the legislation. So it's more or less an added tool, whether it's through the town councils, village councils, public health, environmental protection, of course, anything related to the Solid Waste Management Authority Act. So you get a practicable template that you can use, and it can be used within your legislative framework. Next slide. So we're going to go into chapter 1, which looks at the model local regulations, which can be adopted. Next slide. So part 1, this establishes the legal foundation for the use of the regulation. So regulation is used because, of course, if you're using an act, it has to go to Parliament, it has to be debated, and that could take a while. Regulation simply has to be signed into law, and once there's no negative resolution, once it goes before Parliament, it's a much easier process to be passed. And then within regulations, you can do rules or guidelines, which is a much simpler process. So therefore, where you even have changes, once it doesn't go against the legislation, the regulation can therefore incorporate these. In terms of the style, it's a short title, which is basically the name, and when it's going to begin, which is the commencement. The purpose and policy objectives, what's the reason for the legislation, what it seeks to achieve. The scope of the application, which is the municipal or the domestic area, the villages, the towns, and the councils, and the legal authority under the municipal and national laws. Part 2 deals with interpretation and application, which are more or less legal concepts because you want the term to be understood fully. So it defines key terms as what organic waste is, how source separation is expected to occur, what is expected by composting, as well as defining who is a waste generator and therefore who certain aspects of the regulation would apply to. And this ensures alignment with the national laws and environmental standards. Part 3 deals with general duties. It sets responsibilities for the generators of waste, the municipal councils, as well as the waste contractors and service providers. Next slide. So we look at part 4, which looks at source separation and collection. As I mentioned before, the regulation creates an operational system for the separation of organic waste at source. So basically, when there's waste, let's say at a household or the business, the separation of the organic waste takes place there prior to the actual collection of the waste. Then the municipal organic waste collection services. So I'll just give an example. Let's say you're using a yellow container for organic waste, you separate that at home. If you're using a collection service, you put your organic waste within that yellow container, and the relevant waste collection service that is empowered or licensed to collect that type of organic waste would collect it. And it therefore helps to control contamination, as well as instances where it could be more secure. I'm sure some of you may have had instances where animals like dogs or horses have more or less thrown down your garbage receptacle to get to the relevant organic waste inside. So these could be more secure in terms of how they have been put forward. In terms of part 5, compost and organic treatment, this section provides a legal basis for the household composting. So it basically states the way how it should be done. It provides a legal basis that you can look to have community composting programs. So you therefore have it on a larger scale as opposed to just household if you want to do that. And then it also has provision for small scale composting facilities. So you can actually look to have facilities for composting as well, just as some options which the regulations put forward that you can wrap your mind around. We now come to part 6, which looks at the fees and incentives. So naturally, a program like this will need financing. So in order to, of course, keep it going and not to depend on central government all the time, you would want to introduce economic tools such as reasonable municipal waste service fees. You may be able to therefore provide reduced fees for this source separation. And then incentive programs are also another option which could be looked at within such a regulation. Now, if you want a regulation to work, enforcement is an important aspect. So Part 7 produces compliance mechanisms such as inspections, compliance notices, and it lists what offenses are and what the general penalties may be. We come to Chapter 2, which is Part 8 of the regulation, the schedules and the annexes. All right, so next slide. So when we look at Part 8, and you could go to the slide that starts Part 8, monitoring, implementation, and review. So that provides mechanisms for monitoring organic waste diversion, phased regulatory implementation, and a periodic regulatory review. So it basically has a mechanism for, let's say, monitoring, ensuring that the program is working. You'll be able to have data to determine basically the amount of waste collected, how often the schedule is, and therefore you can adjust accordingly to ensure adequate use of resources. You can indicate how often you review this, hence the periodic regulatory review, and phase regulatory implementation. So you can give persons time in order to implement the various programs. Schedules and annexes, which follow the end of the regulation. So there's practical guidance there, including the schedule of penalties you can look at. So you don't necessarily have to say, as soon as a person commits an offense, it's a fine or jail time. There is the possibility of administrative fines, as well as perhaps doing an action plan and enabling a person to comply, as that would be the main aspect of what is required, compliance, as opposed to having a punitive system. The guidance also includes designation of large organic waste generators, if you would want to provide licenses or permits for such persons. And it'll also have requirements for markets, households, and food establishment, particularly as these would be larger generators of organic waste. Next slide, which should be 4, which is listed conclusion. And this has the next steps and the way forward. So we're coming to the final slides. Next slide, which is start source separation approach. So we would be looking at having voluntary participation during the early stages. This is very important to have buy-in and, of course, the relevant technical assistance to enable persons and businesses to meet the requirements of the regulation. You, of course, will have mandatory separation at the beginning for large generators, such as markets and hotels. And then you could gradually expand to residential households. Some instances where there's financing, you could even provide the bins initially, just as some suggestions. And there should only be mandatory separation where a collection system exists. So in that aspect, household composting will be permitted and encouraged. There will be support for the community composting programs. As I mentioned before, the small scale composting facilities allowed. But if it's a large commercial facility, it is likely to require environmental authorization. Next slide, please. So in terms of the Belize municipal implementation, the city and town councils would be important in this. Also, as stakeholders, the hotels and restaurants, the public markets, and the households. Next slide, should start regional lessons. And this is just a chart indicating organic waste policy development within the Caribbean region, as I would have done an analysis of this. So this is just a diagram to show where it lies. So Belize is up front here. It can be shown that explicit organic waste regulation would improve policy clarity. Incentives often perform mandates in the early phases, so the incentives are an important aspect. Municipal innovation or local innovation is critical for implementation because it has to be tailored in a way that it works for the residents of Belize. And these templates reduce policy design costs because, of course, it provides that foundational framework which you just adapt to your current situation. Next slide. So in summary, the regulation provides a practical tool. It's the diversion from recovery. And very importantly, it provides a scalable framework for Caribbean small states such as Belize. Next slide. And that is the final slide. So thank you very much. I turn back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Romel. Maybe I can open the floor. I can start with one question, but maybe if the participants have any question here for us, it will be highly valuable to have your comments because we will be sharing with you these templates before we approve it, and we will request for you to review it and say if you have any questions, because the idea is to use these different regulations that Mr. Rommel have developed. So yeah, I have a question that is, what mechanisms or measures should be created or strengthened to improve their participation, and also, as we all know, the local governments in Belize currently do not have an ordinance or kind of that type of instruments. So what is your advice for local governments to become more active in this process of developing the laws related to organic waste management? So these are the main two questions. And please, in the case you have a question, you can open your mic and ask to Rommel as well. Rommel, did you hear my question, or maybe I can repeat it?
Yes, repeat it, please. Sorry about that.
Yeah. What would be your advice for local governments to become more actively involved in the process of developing laws related to organic waste management? And also, what are the mechanisms or measures that should be created to improve the participation of the local governments?
Yeah, sorry, it broke. Yeah, it broke up a bit, but I think I understood most. So what is going to be important is to have what we call stakeholder buy-in. So it's going to be necessary to let your stakeholders know about the regulation and what the reason for it is, so that they can tell, of course, that it's not meant to be punitive or a set of rules that is due to make their life harder, but is actually beneficial for them and their environment and for the country at large. And examples for implementation, such as if you're able to do, let's say, a type of graphical exercise where you have an illustration of how composting works, the benefits, if they're into farming and they can use it, such as developing feed for animals, so that they could see an economic and environmental protection benefit to it as well. Because, of course, it's going to be new and it's going to be a cultural shift in terms of waste separation. So I think having that buy-in is going to be a very important aspect within the beginning stage. As long as persons can see how this is important, how it will benefit me, and that is not difficult to implement, it's likely to work a lot better.
Great, thank you so much. I don't know if any of the participants of today have any question to Mr. Rommel. We will be sharing, as I previously mentioned, the templates with you. So maybe you can have more information and understand better the different clauses and everything. In the case you have a question, please raise your hand or open your mic now. And yeah, Mr. Leon Castillo, please.
Yeah, just an update. In the last couple of weeks, the council has been invited to a lot of different consultation meetings. One of the last ones we had was with the Department of Environment, where a consultant from the Jeff Small Island was here. They're going to do a national roadmap for hazardous waste material. And to some cases, it will cover some stuff of organic waste, um, biomedical waste, and construction material. So a lot of these meetings that we're having, they're all intertwining at some level. Like what I told Mr. Tyrone from Solid Waste Management, I think it's important that all of our stakeholders talk to each other, that they network better because we're all working on the same goal, right? This is coming from Jeff. This one is coming from CCAP. Others are coming from UN, and so we need to get together and talk to each other, if you want to put it that way, right? But they're similar meetings, similar consultations.
Yeah, okay, great. We are taking note about this, Mr. Lon Castillo. Of course, we are all of these projects are managed by the Belize Solid Waste Management Authority, so they are mainly trying to assign different activities to different partners. But now with this, taking into account this, maybe we can discuss better and understand better this project from the GEF. Alejandra?
Thank you, Maria. Mr. Rommel, I do have a question regarding, like, for example, like if we talk about Belize, that the local government doesn't have like this power to do their own laws. So, like, I don't know if you probably can know more cases where this happens, because if 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 they, for example, if a local government wants to implement something like this, they can really do the policy. They have to go through the national government. And if the national government is not in the interest, or I don't know, they will take like very long time. So I don't know if you can share like experiences that you may know from other countries, that can have like more or less the same scenario that here.
Yes, thank you very much for your question. Indeed, the initial aspect of it is going to require some assistance from the central government. So why the regulation is important. So as opposed to an act, which therefore has to be going to parliament and debated, going before parliamentary council, which could take quite a while. Having it in a regulation state, let's say if it's based on, I'm just giving an example here, an Environmental Protection Act or Town Council Act, the minister just has to sign it into regulation, and the parliament, when it goes before parliament, as long as there's not a majority objection to the regulation being passed, it's passed, so it's a lot quicker. Within these regulations, so you have to see if, let's say, a village council or town council legislation provides that rules and guidelines could be made. And if the council has the power to make rules and guidelines, elements from these templates could be taken from there and placed within the rules and the guidelines, depending on the amount of autonomy which the council or town has, or perhaps it could be put forward to the minister to provide that type of autonomy in terms of rules and guidelines. But instances such as penalties, punishment will remain at the hand of central government, so that the council therefore deals with the operational measures. The composting, collectors come out 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That should fall squarely within the guidelines of the local government authority. Things which are more policy decisions, such as should we make the fine $100 for not separating your waste? That may fall more upon a national authority, but something in terms of the local government could decide how you deal with the waste that's not separated, because that's operational. So you would see whether the company is expected to then take it in, separate it itself, and then send the person a bill for having to do that separation. So it's instances like those where you look to legislation and see where you can have that autonomy, or you'd make that representation to the relevant minister and local government for autonomy in those operational instances. So it all depends on what the framework is. If not, you'll have to make representation to have that in particular.
Yeah, thank you so much for this answer and for this presentation. We will be sharing in the next few days the template, so you can validate it via email, or maybe you can send us a WhatsApp. So then give me 1 second, because I want to present our last speaker. And thank you so much, Beatriz, for waiting us. We are sorry that we have some, oh, wow, no. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm going back. I don't know why I started presenting from the start and then, well, now, perfect. Okay, so thank you so much, Beatriz, for joining us today. For us, it's a pleasure to have you here and giving us this perspective, this new perspective from your side for the Recycle Organics program. So to present you briefly, Beatriz Loten is a psychologist specializing in public policy analysis through a behavioral change lens. She works combining behavioral science and development, designing strategies to improve public programs. Her expertise focuses on waste, sanitation, and hygiene systems and waste management across Latin America. She has collaborated with governments, multilateral organizations, and NGOs to translate behavioral insights into practical policy solutions. Her work aims to make public services more effective, inclusive, and responsive to how people actually make decisions. So thank you so much for being with us today, Beatriz, and the floor is yours.
Oh, I didn't know I could disable. I'm in the mic. Okay. Can you see me? Just wanted to say hello.
Yes, we can see you.
Yes, we
Hi,
can
Beatriz.
see you.
Good. Okay, yes. So thank you very much for that presentation. It was very interesting what I got to hear about Rommel. This is definitely a different point of view. It doesn't go against what he said. It's just a more psychological way of seeing things. So I hope you like it, and I hope you probably will have a lot of questions. Let's see. Can you jump into slide number 4, please? I just know that I have 15 minutes, so I'll tell you about this. Yes, understanding the Come-B framework. So what I did was I went and interviewed in 3 different countries, 3 different audiences. And in Belize, I talked to governments, I talked to the specialists, people that worked with this project, and I tried to understand what were the psychological barriers that were complicating the process of adopting or implementing an organic policy or organic practices in the government. So what I used to understand this is this framework. So this framework says that for a behavior to happen, we need to have 3 things and 3 levels. We need to have capability, opportunity, and motivation. So capability means we need to know, we need to have the capacity, the knowledge, be clear on the concepts and know exactly how to do it, have the skills to do it. have the capacity. Opportunity means that there has to be a lot of the structure to make it happen. That was probably what the prior speaker was more talking about, right? How to make a structure for things to happen, legal structure. And in terms of government, that's quite important. And then motivation. And motivation has to do with private motivation or motivation that we develop more publicly because of social pressure. And that in government has to do with a lot of priorities, which are all of them, because governments have to deal with a lot of problems with not a lot of with limited resources. So it's a great challenge. That's the way I try to understand what the barriers were. Next slide. And the next slide, this is the way that I try to create solutions for policy using EAST. So EAST stands for make things easy for the user. If I ask them, if I ask the users of a municipality to compost in very complicated structure, that would probably lower the probability of the behavior. I will have to make it accessible to and attractive. It has to be something that I feel motivated to do and nothing that I feel embarrassed to do. If what I think about organic waste is that it's smelly and dirty, well, then I have to turn it around and make it more attractive. I have to make it social accepted. And it's really important as well to make it in a timely manner. So probably there are always better times to start a program, to use New Beginning or start with a specific population. But we really have to be careful in when to start something. So timing is important. And this is mainly what I found. Next slide. The core challenges of the government, of the governments or the local governments, well, there are a lot, but in terms of adopting an organic waste and a compost program, has to do with confusion around waste terminology. There's a lot of confusion, lack of actionable data. They don't have enough data to make decisions, which makes it more complicated. And then competing priorities and short-term pressures. As I said, local governments have a lot of priorities and not a lot of resources. Next one. So just to talk a little bit more in detail about each barrier. Confusion with waste terminology. What we found is that, well, sometimes compost, organic waste, recycling is used indifferently, which actually they actually mean different processes and different concepts in the mind of people. But sometimes it's confusing, and it's confusing not because of ignorance at all. It's actually the opposite. It's just a lot of information at the same time. And it is quite important to reframe the problem as something solvable through better design. Why? Because if I put it all together, then whatever I think about one, I will think about the rest. And if I separate them, then maybe solutions could be easier to adopt or easier to understand. This is called cognitive overload. When you are overloaded with a lot of information and you cannot easily distinguish one from the other, then your next step is inaction. You become paralyzed. Barrier number 2 is exactly this, decision paralysis due to lack of data. In some cases, they don't have updated household or waste volume data. In some places, there's not even collecting services, or they're not charging for the service, so everybody is at a different level. And when you try to move municipalities, local governments into a certain policy, but they lack information to get there, then they probably won't do it because it's too hard. I was using the example of I don't know, if someone comes to me and tells me, hey, Beatrice, how about we build a car? I'll be like, oh my God, I don't have any idea on how to build a car. But if they split it a little bit more into, hey, how about if we start a project and we go and find this piece and then this piece, and then after a long time we build a car. It's way easier, but we have to meet the governments where they are. And they stall, they can't move, even when they're motivated to do so. Because one thing that I found is that everybody has this motivation to do composting and to start a composting program, but not everybody has the capacity or the capabilities. And again, that doesn't mean lack of knowledge, but probably more decision paralysis because of overload or because of lack of data to make the decision. Barrier 3. This is barrier 3, it's competing priorities and short-term bias. I mean, municipalities have lots, in local governments, they have a lot of issues to solve. And when they need to allocate resources, they will probably allocate them in what needs to be done immediately. And that is a common decision, and it's just made to survive. So they have limited budgets, they have limited staff, they have a lot of immediate crisis, and sometimes anything climate change tends to be something that gives the benefits in the future. Therefore, any short-term bias will win. I mean, if we had I don't know, if we don't compost and then the next day a hurricane hit us, then we'll understand a little bit faster what the effect is, but it's not. The consequence is very far away. So let's keep on going. I know this is all negative, but I promise I'll come with recommendations that are more optimistic. So what motivates municipal actions in Belize? It's not necessarily what motivates CCAP. It's not necessarily what motivates people that are very much into climate change. Why? Because governments have a huge agenda. And for them, what is important is city beauty, cleanliness, tourism appeal, civic pride, reputation. So maybe pivoting from problems to opportunity could be interesting in working with local governments. And because we tend to build programs based on what we know and who we are. And then because for us it's very important, climate change or very important environmental issues, doesn't mean that it's the same for the person that is on the other side or for the organization that's on the other side. So it's important to consider what motivates them. Another driver that I found is that, can you move slides? Is that learning from the webinars those were in these spaces are spaces that governments get a lot of information because they learn about their peers, they learn about other governments, and it seems to be like a powerful accelerator to learn how other governments are doing and just to know that you're not alone in all this. So that was a really good driver, and it's something that should be kept. And then this is a summary, so you can skip it to third. You can skip this one and go to the next slide. Well, the next slide is about reducing cognitive load. As we said, when we see people just confusing the terminology, it's because probably the information is just too much. And when it's too much, it's confusing. So simplify, try to use one terminology, not three. Try to keep it, yes, very simple, nothing about reusable, valued, so something simpler to grasp concepts faster and reduce confusion during lessons. Limit new ideas. I mean, new ideas can come up like examples, but then just focus on something very specific, because then new ideas will definitely ignite motivation. But if you don't have the next step for all of them, then they will end up confusing people and just frustrating them. Use visuals and frequent comprehension checks help that maybe can confirm understanding and support learning success. So when you're dealing with a municipality or when the municipality is dealing with an association, it's always good to end the session saying, so could you tell me what you learned? Could you something really like, I don't know, a quiz, something very simple, but at least to make sure that the concepts are clear. Because sometimes we finish webinars or we finish lessons and we thought, oh, it was a success, and people take probably less than 10% of the information, and that might be not the type of information that we need. Next one, make action manageable. Break down policy steps. Provide clear guidance. Use practical tools. As I was saying, if you say, okay, so what this municipality or recommendation would be, how am I in time? I think I'm fine. Let me know if I'm not good on time, but I'm running here. So try to break it down even in smaller steps. I mean, if you have to work with, for example, a payment schedule or payment examples from another government, use that. It's very overwhelming to come to a local government and propose a whole legislation or a whole legal framework for organic waste if, for example, they don't have any recycle or there's no separation. So try to meet them where they are. One thing that I think it would be useful, because I think because of a lot of information and then the channel is not always open, I mean, people are in 1,000 things a day, is to maybe make one GPT agent, one AI agent that can answer questions and that could guide governments into building regulations, norms, or a process to start a program like this. I think if you put all the information that you already have into a GPT and give access to the government, that would be something. I mean, they could just get the phone and make the question, and then the GPT will answer the question and what the next step could be. And then you'll feed it with information. Start small and then grow big. It's easier for governments, for example, working with greenery. It seems to be something that they're already doing and that they can do that. They can start implementing with composting with that, not exactly with food waste. So maybe you can start there. You can start in a small location. And I mean, the thing is that you need to start. But then when you present a big program, it could be, again, overwhelming. So proposing a very small start type of an experiment or laboratory could give more confidence to the government to make a gradual expansion. It could also be less expensive. Timing is very, very important. It seems that dry season is a good timing, so try to align any program that starts in dry season. That is also seems to be an important moment for tourism, and Belize tend to be highly influenced by tourism. So consider that. Connect composting to civic pride. There are, as we saw before, municipalities and people have different, and the next slide, have different motivations. So whenever we talk about composting, perhaps it would sound better if we frame it around the motivations that they have, their priorities. Can you go to the next slide? Maybe, yeah, there you go. Beautifying public spacing, boosting local tourism, community pride and stewardship. Those are things that the local government values a lot, and the people that trust the government values too. So composting messaging should be connected to their motivations and how that adds to these goals, and not exactly how that adds to our goals, which are our own motivations, not theirs. And then simple and social. the last slide. Exactly. Just make it social, it has to be a very easy adoption, fewer steps. And when I say fewer steps, I know there are processes that cannot be simplified, but you can split them and you can tell the people, first do this, just one thing. That's it. Then do this. As soon as people have 2 or 3 steps in, they start having a feeling that they already invested, and the probability of continuing with the steps are higher. So I know sometimes it's easier just to provide them a list of things that they should do, but that it's probably overwhelming for them and easy for us. So if we want more adherence to a program like this, we should strategize in how to ask for information or how to ask them for action in a more graduate way. It is you have to make it social as well, and then make it to encourage it and make it a habit. Community encouragement is important. Connecting composting to local identity, pride is important, and comparing to other municipalities and how they're working is important as well. We behave better when we have peers doing the same thing as we're doing than when we're in private or enclosed spaces. And those are the recommendations that I had for the program in Belize. I think I was fine with the 15 minutes.
Thank you so much, Beatriz. I don't know if any of the participants of today wants to open their mic and ask any question to Beatriz, because it was super interesting, this research and the different findings she found. And it's crucial for local governments, but also for initiatives to understand how the population is, well, how to engage better and how to have an efficient compost program or home composting program, educational campaign. So yeah, in the case any of you have a question, you can open your mic. I don't know. Of course, now it's time for lunch, we know, in Belize. So maybe we know that. But well, okay, we can continue or finish this session, and of course you can contact us and we can share the email of Beatriz, and maybe she can answer the questions you have that maybe you don't have it now, but it can appear that different questions. So thank you so much, Beatriz, for joining us today and for giving us this incredible and super valuable funding. Yeah, so now before we finish, I want to present some important things before we go to the next steps. As we are closing now, the first thing is that all of the participants that were part of our webinars at least the 50% of the time, or at least the 50% of the sessions, will receive a certificate of participation. So we have more than 10 people that will receive it, and congrats for that 10 people. You will receive it the next week for sure. And of course, we hope that you can post on LinkedIn, tag the program, and also, well, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever you use, to share your participation and your engagement within this network and educational program. Now, some of the things that I mentioned briefly in my opening remarks is that you will have all these sessions. You have all these sessions that are recorded and all the different presentations on our website. So you can scan the QR code that is in the screen, or also you can get into our website, Recycle Organics, and you have a section that it's network and educational programs, and you will find all the network and educational programs that we developed in the different countries. So for example, you have some for Argentina that are more related to the agro-industrial sector, something for St. Lucia that is more related to hospitality. So the different materials, and of course the ones that we made in Belize, and the 4 organic waste management plans that were developed by the different municipalities. So now I want to leave the floor to Diana, Miss Diana Rodriguez. She's the Senior Waste Policy Associate at CCAP, and also she's coordinating the Recycle Organics program in SEEDS, to give some final words for us. The floor is yours, Diana.
Thank you, Maria Paula. No, I just wanted to close the session and these network sessions. As we're finishing this cycle, and on behalf of our team, I wanted just to express our very sincere gratitude to the people and the institutions that made this initiative possible. Our network sessions helped to build a community that has grown since we launched back in January 2025, thanks to the support of Environment and Climate Change Canada. In this period, the network delivered 11 technical sessions, virtual and in person, including the one we held in May last year, close to Belmopan, as you might remember, where we had a space for peer exchange or practical dialogue and institutional cooperation. As you saw today, tangible outcomes have been of this network has been the formulation of 4 organic waste management plans in Belmopan, Benque Viejo del Carmen, Dangriga, and Orange Walk. And these municipalities are now demonstrating commitment and forward-looking vision to strengthen local organic waste management systems. So I wanted to, and the team wants to give a special thanks to Joyce Cantun, to Mr. Baeza, to Edgar Cocum, to Mr. Leon Castillo, and to Martha Robinson for everything because without you, this would have not been possible. I also wanted to extend a special thanks to Alejandra, our local consultant, whose dedication and coordination efforts and close engagement with our town and city counterparts were key to ensure the continuity and the quality of the network activities. Her work on the ground played a key role in connecting our technical knowledge with all local implementation realities. So thank you very much, Alejandra. I also wanted to recognize the work of Maria Paula, who you have seen leading all the sessions, besides that, coordinating the topics, the panelists, the presentations, and all logistics. So without her, of course, nothing would have been possible either. So thank you so much, Maria Paula. I also wanted to recognize the team of Implementa Sur for their support in several technical sessions, in maintaining coordination with the municipalities and helping link our dialogue in these sessions with local implementation on the ground. But most of all, I wanted to have our deepest appreciation to all the network participants. You sustained this engagement, your openness to share experiences and to collaborate is what created this learning environment that made possible for all of these discussions that we had to be transformed into practical solutions. So thank you to everyone that participated. As you saw today, things shared during our sessions effectively translated into local action. And that is thanks to the municipal government teams and to participants from other sectors that adapted approaches, presented their peers, their peer learnings to their own, and adapted those to their own realities. So overall, we want to believe that the network has not only strengthened capacities, but also we hope it has built lasting relationships, trust, and a spirit of collaboration among you all. I would ask you to use this network and contacts in the future. You have, and Mr. Castillo mentioned it, please contact me if you have any questions. Like, we are advancing a little bit more, so I'm happy to share. So I thank Mr. Castillo, and I think this is something that we want to leave you with. Just reach out to keep learning, to find answers to your questions, and hopefully to find solutions as well. Use the WhatsApp. Everyone's there. Just send a question and you'll maybe find answers. So we hope this is a source of information and that more things can be accomplished in the future. Finally, I just want to thank you for the diversity of your perspectives, the openness to share challenges, solutions as well, and your sustained engagement throughout all of this time. Our sincere thanks to all of you. And with that, I will leave the floor to Maria Paula to close the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Diana. That was amazing. Thank you so much for these amazing closing remarks. And yeah, I get a bit emotional, of course. Well, and I want to say some final things, if you allow me, and I want to make a recap with this last slide. And mainly, just to add on Diana's, I just want to share my brief personal reflection on this experience, because since 2020, I have been working on capacity building initiatives with local governments across all Latin America and the Caribbean. But this was my third time working with a small island developing states that that the reality is extremely different from other countries. And it has been one of the most meaningful professional experiences I had. I met a lot of beautiful people from Belize, and I am deeply grateful for the openness, the trust, and the commitment that you have shown. And also, as you might know, we had multiple technical outputs. We have the participation of over 200 stakeholders, engagement from nearly 50 experts, speakers, the presentation of more than 30 case studies, it's a lot, and the definition of more than 120 actions in the different plans. So on the personal level, for me, visiting Belize was truly inspiring. And you have an extraordinary country, rich in natural beauty and strong community ties. And of course, it has an enormous potential to turn organic waste management into an opportunity for climate resilience, local development, and circular resource use. So I sincerely hope that this is only the beginning of a continued collaboration, and we, part of the Recycle Organics program, we truly want and look forward to future continued collaborations and opportunities working again in Belize. So yeah, with all that said, we can close our network and educational program, and thank you for sharing all this year with us. And we hope you enjoy it and you learn more about the organic waste sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.